Art advice is supposed to make you a better artist. But what if I told you that a lot of the advice that you've been trying to implement into your art won't actually help you improve, or at least not in the way you'd hoped? You shouldn't have to struggle with bad art advice while trying to improve, but rather be enjoying the wonderful experience that is learning how to draw. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the advice that you should take differently so that you can get better results from them. Not all of the advice in this video is bad in of itself. Sometimes it's just the way we try to apply the advice that is keeping us from growing as an artist. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you those pieces of advice and showing you how you can maybe apply them differently to get more out of them. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing with you your own strategy to use the best points of advice in this video to actually see improvement and growth. The first piece of advice is to draw every day or just practice. I feel like this is the most overrated piece of advice for how to grow in your art skills. And it seems straightforward. Just draw sketches, studies, doodles, anything every single day for the rest of your life, and eventually you will improve. Yeah. Well, no. I tried this for my first year of drawing and got nowhere. Sometimes going so far as to do 300 plus drawings in a single month with little to no improvement. Now this is not to discourage you, but rather to show you that this exercise in of itself without direction isn't enough to improve within a reasonable amount of time. Realistically speaking, you should try to draw as often as you can, whether that actually ends up being once a day or once a week. I believe the main purpose of this exercise is to build muscle memory, practicing techniques that you already know to get more familiar with your medium and style of painting. Thus, making this exercise great when you add other practices and exercises to it. You will certainly improve with this technique alone. However, not as rapidly as you are often led to believe. Now, more often than not, the people giving you this advice genuinely want to help you and see you improve. However, when you ask a simple generic question like, how can I improve? They are clueless as to how to actually help you because it's just too broad of a question. So they just fall back on the tried and true, just practice or draw every day. The next time you want to ask an artist for advice, try to be as specific as you can. Here are some examples to get you started. How can I draw better proportions? Why does my art look cartoony when I'm going for realism? A lot of times you will get an answer and you'll feel like you still have more questions. That is normal and feel free to ask them. For example, with that particular question, you might then say, how can I fix the cartooniness of my drawings and make them look more realistic? Another question you can ask is, how can I get smoother blending? It literally doesn't matter what medium you use, this is going to apply for all of them because inevitably you are going to have to blend out something at some point. Obviously, all the questions that you may want to ask will be unique to you. However, asking literally anything more specific than just how can I improve will give you much better advice in return. And by the way, if there's an art question on your mind as you're watching this video, feel free to ask me. I truly want to help you on your art journey. Number 2. Learn the rules before you break them. You are going to make mistakes. And ultimately, if you are waiting until the day when you know everything, that day will never come. Art is a journey. You are never going to stop learning. And most of the time, you won't actually be able to learn those things without trying them. I recommend you just get started. I don't care what your first drawing or painting looks like, just start. Just allow yourself that opportunity to start. And then you can figure out areas in that project that you didn't like so much and look for ways to improve on those. Just start. Number 3, realism isn't real art. Draw whatever you enjoy drawing. It doesn't matter what other people think of it. Number 4, don't use reference photos. Guys, this literally couldn't be further from the truth. Those of you who have been around here long, and those of you who know me, know that reference photos are my best friend, and they really should be for all artists, no matter what style you're working in. Here are just a handful of other examples of other artists who use reference photos. And if you take a look at them, you will see that they all have different styles as well. So this really does apply to anyone. Jazza, Super Ray Dizzle, Lacree, Kirsty Partridge, and loads more. Reference photos are literally just the roadmap you can use to get to the end result you want. Whether that be for proportions, lighting, texture, or anything else. Each style of art will use reference photos differently, but all guide the artist to the results they are after. For example, hyperrealism would be drawing from the reference right down to the nitty-gritty details. I know, daunting, right? Whereas just realism is copying most of the reference, but being able to tweak it to your own preferences, messing around with colors and altering how you want the end result to look. Impressionism is drawing the general idea of the reference to be able to depict the image from a distance. For cartoons and animations, artists will use many different reference photos for the same piece, piecing together all the different textures, features, and anatomy. This just barely makes the surface of the importance and value of using reference photos in your artwork. Number 5, you need expensive art supplies to make good art. I don't even know where to get started with this one. Guys, I started out with essentially a 12-pack of Crayolas. That was not skill, that was not talent, but rather simply learning the skills I needed to get to the results I wanted. And you can do the same, creating amazing artwork with whatever you already have. Digital art isn't real art. Guys, I've done one drawing. One. And let me tell you, it is real art. It takes real time, it takes real diligence, it takes real skill to create good quality digital art in the same way it takes to make traditional art. Art is art, no matter what medium you use. And in this case, digital is another medium. Art school is the only way to learn how to draw. No, I did not go to college. No, I did not study art in high school. I am a self-taught artist. And that is a majority of the motivation I have for this YouTube channel and helping you guys learn how to draw too, because I know that a lot of people watching this video don't have the money, don't have the time to go to college to learn how to draw. But they just want to draw. Others just want to see if they can draw, if there's even anything there. And I want to be that resource that really helps you get off the ground with your art and see what you are truly capable of. All you need to be able to draw is to have the determination to learn how to draw. You have to be born with talent or some fancy art skill to be able to draw. Guys, imagine if I said you had to be born with crayons in your hand to be able to draw. Guys, we have all drawn at some point. I mean, if you haven't, that'd be really weird. Honestly, it'd be weird. But I'm sure we are all familiar with a lovely brand, this lovely item that literally symbolized a certain part of our childhood where we enjoyed drawing. Yes, our drawings may not have looked great, but here's the thing. When we're young, we are so much more willing to try new things and go outside of our comfort zones. Guys, just have the mindset of a child to be open to new possibilities. You're never too old to learn. You're never too young to learn. There is no boundaries when it comes to art. You can start today. Literally start today. Take one of my lessons, watch one of my tutorials, try something today. You will be shocked how much progress you can make in a short amount of time if you put in the time and effort. Alright, moving on. You can never copy another artist's work. Guys, so long as you're not trying to sell your artwork or pass it off as your own, then you're fine copying other artists. And honestly, it's a great way to start, because ultimately, if you are copying another artist's work, you know exactly what you're striving for. And a lot of times that is one of the major barriers of getting started, is we don't have an end result we know we want to reach. Now, I wouldn't recommend copying other people's artwork for the rest of your life. Do this to practice, to learn and get a feel for what style you prefer, and then branch out as you feel comfortable. Then try to develop your own style. Never take a break. I think this goes back to that first piece of advice, wow, that was a long time ago, where you're supposed to draw every single day for the rest of your life. You don't have to do that. Take breaks. It is so okay. I think one of the main reasons for this piece of advice is that when you take a break, you get rusty at your skills. So you will forget how to do certain things. And a lot of people get so scared that they're just gonna end up losing all of their ability to draw if they take a break. Guys, drawing and painting is essentially like riding a bike or a horse. You might feel really rusty at it when you first get back on, but eventually everything you've learned will come back to you. So yes, the first painting or drawing you do when you first get back from your break, that might not look so great, but that's okay. You got back to it. You tried, then you move forward from there. And honestly, you will find that a lot of what you knew will come back to you. And before you know it, you will be improving rapidly just like before. You need to learn Photoshop or some other fancy program to be able to draw like a professional. Guys, this goes back to the digital art thing / art supplies. Digital art is real art and it is a medium like any other. Here's the thing, guys, just like any other medium, you can start with what you have. You can still make professional quality work without professional quality art supplies. Never use black. This is a huge one in the watercolor community, and I get it. Black has a tendency to make your paintings look unnatural and flat. I really enjoy using black in my artwork, and I feel like it gives me the deep dark values that I am always going for to create the values that I want. If you like how that looks in your artwork, then by all means keep using black. In a similar sense, you should never use white. And the reason for this is that watercolorists like to let the white of the paper show through their paints, creating a super vibrant kind of glow in their artwork, which is gorgeous. And when you throw white on top of that, you immediately remove the translucency of the paint and make it an opaque kind of blob, which basically just breaks up the whole painting and makes it look less cohesive and a whole lot more unnatural. So ultimately, using black or using white will come down to the style you are going for. If you like that more loose, painterly style, then maybe not using black and white would be better suited for you. However, if you go for more of my style, where I like to add loads and loads of detail and have those more opaque colors in my paintings and drawings, then using black and white will prove to be an amazing resource. Don't use erasers. Way back in the past, you could tell if an artwork was the original or a fake based on the underlying sketch outline beneath the painting. Unless you think people are going to be making fakes of your art, I don't think this is a big deal. If you think people are going to steal your art and try to sell it as their own, then maybe that might help. But I don't know that anybody is going to really look at the underlying sketch outline of your paintings unless you become famous. And most people become famous when they're dead, so I don't think you'll care anymore. Just a thought. Tracing is cheating. No, it's not. If anything, I feel like tracing could be an amazing resource for beginners to learn how to freehand. And I hope to make a video on that soon so you can see exactly how you can use tracing that way. When that video is done, if that video is done, I will have a card pop up so you can check that out. But ultimately, if it gets you from point A to point B so that you can actually start drawing, then by all means, go for it. And here's the thing, there are so many things to learn in art that tracing barely nicks the surface. For example, you can trace the sketch outline so that you can jump straight to the drawing and start learning how to shade and layer and blend your colored pencils, or whatever other medium you're using. I believe you can learn it all together, and that way you will see so much more improvement and satisfaction in your drawings and paintings along the journey. Alright guys, I told you that I was going to share a strategy that would help you improve right now, no matter where you are in your art journey. And it only includes 3 steps. Number 1, reflection. Look back on the last piece you finished. Try to figure out one thing in that drawing or painting that you wish turned out a little bit better. Whether that be your proportions, shading, blending, layer, whatever it is, pick one thing. Don't get overwhelmed if there's more than one thing you feel like needs improvement. Just pick one. That's the only way this will work. Otherwise, you will just overwhelm yourself. Step number 2, research how you can improve on the area you just identified. For example, if you felt like your proportions were off, then look into ways to get more accurate proportions in your next drawing. There are so many different ways that you can get an accurate sketch, and really, they are all at your fingertips. All you need to do is look for the answers. You then need to apply it to your next drawing. Step 3, just let everything else go. In this step, I want you to literally just forget everything that you felt like was just not quite as nice as you'd liked in that last drawing, and to really focus on that one thing you are trying to improve. Focus on that, and then try to finish that as a whole drawing. Even if the only thing that improved was that one area, that is still improvement. Then when you're done, just repeat those 3 steps. Reflect, research, and apply. And I promise you, if you follow these 3 steps, really follow them, you will ultimately improve, because in reality, you are giving yourself something to work toward, which is so much better than if you just kept repeating the same thing every single day for the rest of your life. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, why not let me know by leaving a like and a comment. Also, if you'd like even more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. Guys, I hope this video really helped you, and that you will be able to see massive improvement in your art. Anyways, until next time, God bless.